Welcome back to the MVP podcast, a special episode, an emergency episode, an episode that we did not expect, my boy Danny. How are you doing, my brother?
Bro, man, I am. What's that word when it doesn't feel real anymore?
Well, let me present people. We are here on Fight Club tonight. Special episode of Fight Club. Our main man Danny over there, and he feels that feeling that you can't explain. It's a feeling of bittersweet. There's happiness on one side, it's bitter on the other side, bittersweet.
I think it's surreal.
It's surreal, it's unbelievable, it's crazy, it's mad. It's all those emotions because Khabib, Nurmagomedov, the Eagle, defeated Justin Gaethje in the second round via submission, but then shocked the world by announcing his retirement, saying that he can't carry on anymore without his father. He doesn't want to do it. He made a vow to his mother. And I think if there's a lot of people out there, if there's anyone in particular who I would say they're going to retire and they're going to stick to the word, and Marvin Hagler did it, I think Khabib is on that level of you will trust it to probably never come back. Money's never going to tempt this guy, I don't think. It's never done it till this day. It's always been about legacy. He wants number one. He's got number one. He is number one. He put his gloves on the floor, respectfully walks away. The thing afterwards, the speech afterwards, it really got to me, man. Even Justin Gaethje just standing there as well and just like paying respect to him. Honestly, really, it was an emotional end. And I think he'll go down in history in the UFC as one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever. There's a lot of debate. We'll come into that in just a second. I'll give you a chance to speak now as well. But for me, he's got to be in that conversation. But yeah, Danny, man, just give me your thoughts, man.
I mean, I'm trying to struggling to put what I want to say into words. When the fight finished, there was a lot of anticipation, a lot of build-up with the fight, and obviously his father passing away. May Allah rest his father's soul. Because look how much his father meant to him that straight away after the fight, this is a guy we've seen decimate, discombobulate, I don't know if even that's a word, but, decimate, be on top of everyone, destructive. He wins the fight, tells his team to stay there, and breaks down in tears. And, it was quite heavy crying, man. Like, you could see in that moment how much his father meant to him, and he got his victory for his father, of course. And for me, and that was obviously very emotional. And obviously, like you said, you mentioned on the interview after when he, all of a sudden he comes out and says, "Look, I don't want to fight no more. I made a promise to my mother," and he shows that true traditional family values. For me, that I can see why he's retired and stuff like that, but it's more so the feeling that comes with a Khabib fight that I'm going to miss the most. And that's like, it seems that the whole Muslims on those nights, they come together, like it's a real buzz in the air, real spiritualness about it. One of our own. And this guy, he's a devout Muslim, man. I've seen the videos, I've seen him praying in the gym. You know what I mean? The guy's never been, I don't think the guy's ever been videoed in a nightclub or he's never done anything wrong. And I'm not sending shots at any Muslims here or anything like that. But he follows his religion down to a T, and he was brought up with that very old school, ethnic mentality, which a lot of us have come from. So it's going to be really sad not to see him and not to see, because bro, when Khabib's fighting, like everybody's watching it, innit? It's not just the lads, it's the girls as well. It's our aunties, our uncles, and he's a very, very good role model. And the way he speaks about God and the way he spoke about his father, and he's just a good one, you know what I mean? And for that representation to have that, because we don't have that in many sports, like the number one guy. Okay, we have like football, we have your Salah, your Pogbas, your Manes who are Muslim, who are incredible and doing on and off the pitch, but we don't have that dominant force like Khabib, who, 29-0, literally decimated the whole division. He said, "Look, I don't want anything, but when they release the rankings, make me the number one pound for pound." For him, it wasn't about the money. And how many people we know that have got into money and, changed? We've seen it with our own eyes, a little bit of money and I speak for myself. You know, I remember my first biggest paycheck. I walked around thinking I was someone, and you know, I'm not in that position anymore, and I got humbled really quick. But that's the thing, man. I'm gonna miss that. I'm really gonna miss the just the feeling of every Muslim being together on that time, and just behind one cause, man. And it's upsetting, man. As much as he cried for his father, I shed a tear when he said he retired, because this was a guy we've looked up to for years, man. You know, I remember the Conor McGregor fight, man. I remember that one of the biggest fights, you know, Khabib, when he won. I was in Manchester. I watched the fight in Manchester. We was at a food place. We ate the food. It's just one of them. A lot of emotions going through me right now, to be honest. You know what I mean?
It's really sad, man. Honestly, it's really sad. He's a role model. He's a leader. He's a legend. He's a hero. He's just someone you look up to, man. It's like, you know.
I don't like this word, yeah. And sorry to cut you off. I don't like this word GOAT, yeah, because it's thrown around for pretty much everything now. Someone could make a last minute goal clearance and all of a sudden they're a GOAT, but they've not done anything. But this guy does deserve that moniker of GOAT. I know, and I don't think it's a stretch, as far as a stretch to say, in some circumstances, you could compare him to a modern day Muhammad Ali.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, I'm a big UFC fan. I struggle to put him above Anderson Silva in his prime. I think Anderson Silva probably had bigger fights, more title defenses. Was probably more of a GOAT. I think Anderson Silva now is still fighting, so it takes the shine off a little bit. I look at something like
short career though, isn't it?
Who?
Khabib.
Yeah, short career. I mean, look at
Khabib's career was a long. I think Khabib could go another 10 fights and not lose, man.
Probably. I mean, I look at George St. Pierre as well. I think for me, George St. Pierre's above him as well. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. Everything you said, I stand for pretty much. I love the guy. I can't believe that he's retiring, but at the same time, I can. And how much his father meant to him, and obviously his father was his trainer as well.
Yeah. It's as if like all the energy, all the good, the motivation, everything's just been zapped out of him.
Yeah, isn't it?
I can understand that, man. I can understand that. Obviously, I'm very lucky in the fact that I've never lost anyone that close to me. And, you know, there will be a day where that comes and it'll be a big test for me. But I can understand, you know, sometimes the motivation just goes. You know, something hits you in life that hard that it's like, yo.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it anymore. He doesn't need it. What he wanted to achieve, he achieved. He didn't come into.
Well, he's sad because his father wanted him to go 30-0 in it and then leave. And obviously, look, his father seen him do 28-0, and his father weren't there for many of his fights, man. I think he came for the Poirier fight when he was in Abu Dhabi because he was always having visa problems, wasn't he? He couldn't get over.
Yeah, he was having a few visa issues. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know how much difference it would make if he went 30-0, because who would he fight? Would he fight an aging George St. Pierre? Would he fight McGregor again, maybe? I know he doesn't want to, but who would he have fought? I don't think, to be honest with you, I think 30-0 looks better on paper. And I don't want to be them guys that maybe sounds like a Khabib hater, because I'm not. I'm one of his biggest fans. But I don't think 30-0 would have looked much different other than the number on paper. Yeah. I think the guy he fought, is that when Mayweather fought Berto for 40 years ago? It was a shit fight, man. But don't.
Nobody fought McGregor to get the 50.
Don't X this out. McGregor for 50, shit fight. Don't X this out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if he fights someone like that, just some random contender, do you want to see that? Yeah, you want to see Khabib, but you don't really care about who he's fighting because you know he's going to win. You actually thought in this fight, and I want to get onto the fight now, Danny, a little bit, because we've taken too much time talking about Khabib and what he meant to us. But you thought that Justin Gaethje was going to come in, block the takedowns, take him, keep him on standing. I was saying it to my missus, I was like, he looks gassed after 3.5 minutes.
Oh my God. I am so glad you've touched on that.
He looked gassed, and I was surprised because he had a good camp. He looked ready. He looked sharp. He's ready for more, but he looked gassed. It's like
let's just take it back to the
his
first.
His body wasn't ready for the game plan.
He couldn't breathe. He was out of breath. He was. Let's just take it back. Look at the relentless pressure Khabib applied straight away. The way Khabib was going forward, you know, the way they built up Gaethje is this guy who is this awesome striker, which he is, don't get me wrong, and, you know, he'll be able to withstand this pressure. Yeah. I saw him throw his best at Khabib. Khabib took it on the chin, shook his head, fell back, went straight back at him. He was trying to hit Khabib with his best, and I think honestly he did too much in that first round.
Yeah, he was missing a lot of shots. He was
trying to give Khabib for every action Khabib did, he tried to give a reaction.
Yeah.
To just show, maybe like to punk him out, to say, look, I'm not like these guys. And obviously, it didn't work because Khabib was just coming forward.
I didn't like though when Khabib was coming forward and he was getting caught with them leg kicks and how easy his body was bending backwards. I didn't like that, and I thought if the fight had gone on longer, I would have just really been amazed to see what impact that would have had, because no one's ever done that. That was a smart tactic. Yeah, it was like upstairs, downstairs. But you could tell that Justin Gaethje, he's got the power, he's got the strength, he just doesn't have the build and the stamina for that game plan. I want to just one thing quickly. I think Tony Ferguson a few years ago, that would have been the guy that could have made that game plan and maybe made it have an effect on Khabib. I think I don't know. I just don't think he's got the physical build.
No, bro. I think honestly, Khabib's stamina is very good, and Khabib's resilience is very good. Like, well, I see that
he's getting caught with shots. Though this is the thing, you're not going to see that now because he won so convincingly and he was applying the pressure. But if you look, how many times Khabib, he looked so ordinary at times as well. He looked very average when he was getting hit. Like there was no defense to his game. Go back and watch the fight. And when
I get you know about his strike and stuff. Obviously, when he's getting hit.
Not when he was striking, when he was getting hit.
Yeah, when he was getting hit. But did you genuinely feel like he was in danger when he was getting hit? Because I didn't.
I didn't think. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was thinking that this is dangerous because if Gaethje can keep this up, this could be dangerous. But then, because he finished it so quickly, we don't have to worry about it. And because he doesn't have to worry about it. But that was really.
I think that was Khabib's game plan from the offset, though. Anyway, I thought, you know what? He thought, I'll go in there.
It's been his life, man. His whole life, he's fought like that. That's one thing I respect about him. He's never changed. He engaged in a bit of a standing war, but only to build for the takedown. His whole game plan, his whole career plan, has been the takedown.
What about that takedown, though?
The one that see that one.
Not the first one. The second one that finished the fight.
That came off a kick.
Yeah.
But that was smart because as soon as he got the kick, I don't know if he was playing possum and he actually looked like he was getting injured, or if he just went for the takedown. It was smart. It was.
You know the way he closes the distance. It's ridiculous. Fast.
It's ridiculous.
It's blink and you'll miss it.
And that's what Gaethje tried to do, was keep the distance, more distance, social distance, 2 meter rule. You know what I mean? Rule of 6, all of that shit. All that business. Keep all of that. Khabib was like, nah, forget this COVID, man. Let's keep going. But I'm no tier 1, 2, 3 business here. I'm ending the night. Honestly.
It was a great performance, man. It was a solid performance. And
I really enjoyed it. And I'm just really sad that was the end of it. You know, he's, like I say, to all of us, to Muslims, he's a hero. He's a role model. He's an inspiration. You know, he always puts Allah's name first.
Exactly. When he wins, what's the first thing he says? Alhamdulillah.
You know what I mean? He always does things the right way.
You know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to be on top of the world?
Western world, exactly. Yeah.
To be surrounded by yes men, you know, to click your fingers and get anything you want. But for your first words to be Alhamdulillah, you know, glory be to God. You know how hard that is?
It's really refreshing to see, man. And I don't know who the next level, I think that Khamzat is the next sort of Muslim level big time star that we've got in the making.
He's obviously Khabib's the first, isn't it? You know what I mean? So
he's from Dagestan too, Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, no, he is. You're right.
Sweden. He doesn't look as humble as Khabib, to be fair. He's talking shit, I'll be honest with you. He's got that Leon Edwards fight book, man, so I'm excited for that. I really do think that, you know, as much as we're going to miss Khabib, UFC are going to be able to replace Khabib with this guy. I think UFC probably have struggled throughout Khabib's fights in actually building this guy as a massive pay-per-view star due to the fact of his humility, you know, how humble he is. And obviously, like, you got to understand, a lot of his fan base is Muslim. You know what I mean? Take that away from him, like, how many of us would look at Khabib and think, yo, this guy's sick? Because as much as UFC is dominating and fighting, bro, it is about hype, innit? It is about, you know, building a hype and
I think the fact that Khabib is a Muslim and he's very devout in that is that that was his hype that brought all the Muslim fans and all the Arabians and the Pakistanis and Somalis and whatnot. So I don't think the UFC will have any difficulty building up a machine. You've got loudmouth McGregor who talks so much rubbish. And
listen, McGregor's people are gonna hate this, but McGregor's the one who put Khabib on the map from a.
Yeah. I agree with you to a certain extent.
Like if McGregor's made the UFC what it is. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, of course.
Like that, but that's true, man.
Yeah, he is. And obviously, like your Nate Diaz's and your Nick Diaz's, man. Those comedy clowns.
Draws, man. They would never pay per view draws. They were just. You know what me and you was like to say. They've spent time done it. That's all it is. Honestly, they've spent time. That's all it is.
You got to spend the time.
Honestly, that's what me and you have got a few private jokes we can drop off the camera. But honestly, people like that, your Anderson Silvers, your John Jones, your Brock Lesnar's, Cain Velasquez, DC, Conor McGregor, these are your pay-per-view stars. They're full of people. Khabib, for me, was in the next level until he fought McGregor, and then he became in that pay-per-view. But this is the thing. This last 15 minutes, what we spoke about, Khabib doesn't care about that. He's about number one, pleasing his Lord, being number one, being a humble person, and making his mum and dad happy, and that's it. And that's why we love him. That's why he's embraced by all the Muslims. And today they have UFC stars that were saying undoubtedly number one, undoubtedly number one. And it was all the others. It was not Muslim. So it was really nice to see people taking into that. It's sad, but the fight game moves on, Fight Club moves on. We move on to the next big fight coming up.
So who's next, do you think? Just before we do, who do you think?
For who? For that title?
For that title.
You know who he's going to be, man. He's going to work his way back in. He's going to fight Dustin Poirier. He's going to then go and fight against Justin Gaethje probably, and then become the champion. Or
you don't think because how are they going to do it? Because for it to make sense, if I was Dana, I'd probably reinstate Gaethje as the interim,
and then make it fight,
even though he's lost, and get someone to fight him. So who was second?
McGregor probably will be next.
No, McGregor's fourth.
No. I think he will be next.
Yeah, obviously because he's even with COVID and no crowd.
Yeah, I think because I don't think McGregor will still make it work. Trust me, he'll make it work financially.
McGregor fights the IC champ.
Look, between me and you, Danny, let's be honest. Let's be real for a second. Khabib's fighting somebody, McGregor's fighting somebody. Who you're more likely to watch? You're more likely to watch McGregor. He's more of a draw.
No, I'd personally watch Khabib, but I get your point. I do get your point.
All right, maybe prior to the last loss, you would have watched McGregor every day of the week. Khabib.
Obviously, because he was
you have that affinity towards Khabib, and because he's probably retired today, you feel a bit more. But McGregor is the star. It's like your Mike Tyson's. Let's be honest, man. Who really wants to watch this boxer when you want? All right, give example. Vasily Lomachenko before he lost to Teofimo Lopez or Anthony Joshua. Who would you rather watch? You'd rather watch Joshua. If you're an average fan, you'd rather watch Joshua. Why?
See, I'd rather Lomachenko.
Or you'd rather watch Deontay Wilder, who's as some people say, not a very good boxer, a hitter, or Tyson Fury. You'd rather watch these guys than one of the greatest. Obviously, now he's lost. This conversation is a bit, No,
I'd rather watch Fingy. I'd rather watch Lomachenko.
But why did no channel pick up Lomachenko? This is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm a purist, innit? I'm different. I'm a purist.
So
You're about hype.
Purists out there. It's 95% of the people that buy boxing fights don't know shit about boxing. They buy it because
Roger Mayweather. Most people don't know shit about boxing.
They don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth, man. People bought Mayweather. They might have hated him, but that's what made that money keep coming in.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, innit? It's about. It's
a hype train, innit? It's money hype.
So to go back to the point before we do finish, my man. It's about McGregor, it's about money, it's about Dana White, it's about that fight happening, probably with you, like you said, Justin Gaethje for the title. That's what I think. That's what I think. But let's see, man. Let's see. It'll be interesting. But Danny, I think we've got to go off now because it's been too long. Obviously, I've got a movie waiting as well, so
Wow, is that how it is?
That's how it is, man. That's how it
What are
is.
you watching? What are you watching?
I don't know, man. There's a couple of choices I've got to pick between one or two. I had Jason Bourne in the background just now.
Borat 2.
But maybe. We'll see. Maybe. I ain't know that. But listen, anyway, before we do go down there, what is the number one rule of Fight Club?
We always talk about Fight Club.
Peace out, people.